The message landed like a thunderclap, barely 12 words long, posted without warning. Donald Trump had spoken. Again. This time, he didn't mention tariffs first. He didn't mention China. Before we roll the footage, just one thing: if you enjoy our work, drop a like and hit subscribe. Over 98% of you are watching without subscribing. Let's change that right now. It's free for you, but it fuels everything we do. Subscribed? Perfect. Now, enjoy the video. He didn't even mention Biden. He mentioned Britain. And then he mentioned Nigel Farage. Everything changed in that moment. According to sources watching the rally unfold in real time, the crowd didn't even cheer at first. They froze. Trump paused, smiled, then delivered the line that is now ricocheting through Westminster like a live grenade. There's only one man who understands what Britain needs right now. He waited. Let the silence burn. And his name is Nigel Farage. Within minutes, aides inside Downing Street were scrambling. Phones lit up. Screens refreshed. The BBC cut into scheduled programming. Sky News went red banner. The Guardian pushed an alert that sounded almost disbelieving. This wasn't endorsement by wink. This wasn't ambiguity. This was a declaration, and it landed at the worst possible moment for Keir Starmer. What followed, according to two diplomatic sources, was not chaos. It was panic. A leaked memo from the Foreign Office, time-stamped just 20 minutes later, described the situation as strategically destabilizing. That phrase matters, because in diplomatic language, it's one step short of emergency. The inciting event didn't begin on that stage, though. It began weeks earlier, behind closed doors, in Washington. A quiet dinner. No press. No photos. Present were Trump's senior trade advisor, a former Homeland Security official, and a British opposition figure who was not supposed to be there. The name was kept off the guest list. But according to a US political reporter who later obtained the seating plan, the chair was unmistakably reserved for Farage. That dinner changed everything. By the time Trump spoke publicly, the machinery was already moving. Conservative think tanks in DC began circulating white papers, arguing that Britain's current leadership represented ideological drift incompatible with American strategic priorities. The phrase showed up again and again. Ideological drift, globalist capture, strategic unreliability. Then the numbers dropped. A Snap YouGov poll leaked to the Times showed Labour support down 2.5% in a single afternoon. That kind of movement doesn't happen organically. It happens when confidence evaporates, when donors hesitate, when backbenchers start counting exits. Outside Parliament, the crowd gathered fast. Not thousands, hundreds at first, then more. Chants echoed off the stone. Resign, resign. Police lines tightened. Someone lit a flare. Phones were held high. Live streams exploded across X and TikTok. One clip hit 8 million views before dinner. Inside number 10, Starmer was reportedly silent. One aide described him as ashen. Another said he kept asking the same question. Did he really say it? He had, and worse was coming. At a press briefing in Washington the next morning, Trump was asked directly about the UK Prime Minister. The room leaned in. Cameras whirred. Trump's expression hardened. "I like strong leaders," he said. "Britain doesn't have one right now." Then he pivoted. "Nigel's been right for a long time, about borders, about sovereignty, about courage." That pivot was everything. Starmer's team had hoped for neutrality. They got humiliation. The BBC later described it as a public downgrading of unprecedented clarity. In diplomatic terms, it was a slap. The escalation was immediate. Financial markets reacted before politicians did. The pound dipped, then dipped again. Analysts on Bloomberg began openly discussing the possibility of US trade retaliation. A former Treasury official warned that even the hint of 100% tariffs on pharmaceuticals would erase £8 billion overnight. That number spread like wildfire. Trump didn't deny it, he embraced it. At a fundraiser later that night, he bragged about leverage. "Britain needs us more than we need them," he said. "And some people over there forgot that." The crowd roared. The message was unmistakable. Farage, meanwhile, stayed quiet. For exactly 12 hours. When he finally spoke, it was on a morning radio show. Calm, measured, deadly. He praised Trump's clarity. He praised American strength. Then he dropped the line that detonated Labour's remaining authority. Under my leadership, Britain wouldn't beg. We'd partner. As equals. Within hours, Reform UK's membership page crashed. The contrast couldn't be starker. Starmer had spent billions housing migrants in hotels. 21 billion, according to National Audit Office figures. Farage was promising mass deportations. 600,000. No ambiguity. No apologies. He pledged Royal Navy deployments. Physical blockades. Immediate action. Starmer called it grotesque, a violation of human rights, a moral stain. Trump called it leadership. At a closed-door meeting of Republican donors, he reportedly praised Farage's ruthless clarity. One attendee later told Politico, "Trump sees him as family. Loyalty matters more than titles. That loyalty goes back years. To 2016, when Farage stood beside Trump as the world laughed. To 2020, when Trump faced legal threats and Farage refused to distance himself. In Trump's world, those memories are currency. Starmer has none. At the White House, during what was meant to be a damage control visit, Starmer attempted a pivot. Cameras captured the moment. He spoke about stopping the boats, about toughness, about enforcement. He used Trump's language. Almost word for word. The room went quiet. No applause, no nod, just a thin smile from the president, a smile that said everything. Then came the question, "What about Nigel Farage?" Trump lit up. He laughed. He leaned forward. "Nigel's got a big future," he said. "Very bright, very strong." That clip broke the internet. By nightfall, TikTok was flooded with edits. Dramatic music. Split screens. Trump smiling at Farage. Trump dismissing Starmer. The verdict was brutal. The comments were worse. The public fracture deepened. One side warned of American interference. The other shrugged. "Better that than this." Read one viral post. Liked over 200,000 times. Another comment, from a former Oxford lecturer, went viral for its rawness. "I would rather see soldiers on our streets than watch billions wasted while we're told to accept fear.
We've got to rebuild into
that fear is real.
That's
Machete attacks, stabbings, headlines that never stop." Trump seized on it. At a rally, he boasted about deporting 500,000 people in a year, about stopping 150,000 border crossings a month. "It works," he said, "when you mean it." Then he asked the question everyone else was thinking. "How many has Britain deported?" Silence answered. This isn't just rhetoric. It's a clash of worldviews. Enforcement versus accommodation. Borders versus bureaucracy. Trump sees Starmer as a mirror image of the Democrats he crushed, a globalist relic. Farage, by contrast, speaks the same language of national revival. A leaked draft of the U.S. National Security Doctrine 2025 made it explicit. Strategic support would shift toward patriotic movements aligned with sovereignty-first principles. Reform UK was mentioned by name. Labour was not. Inside Downing Street, dread set in. Officials began whispering about bypasses. About Washington talking directly to opposition figures. About intelligence downgrades. One senior civil servant admitted, off record, "We're being frozen out." Trump's team questioned Britain's reliability. A nation that can't patrol its own channel. A government that prioritizes courts over control. In their calculus, that's weakness. And weakness has consequences. Trade talks stalled. Signals were withheld. The special relationship, once automatic, became conditional. Strength was the price of admission. Farage offered a lifeline. Tier 1 trade status. Immediate alignment. Analysts at Oxford Economics estimated an £85 billion GDP boost. Labour couldn't match it. Ideologically or politically. Backbenchers felt it first. Quiet meetings. Resignation letters drafted but not sent. Leadership challenges war-gamed, as one insider put it. Better to move early than be buried later. The crisis spilled into NATO conversations. Without American cover, Britain's posture weakens. Defence spending faces cuts. Intelligence sharing becomes transactional. The implications are enormous. Every right-wing party in Europe noticed. The White House's signal was clear. This wasn't a spat. It was an ideological offensive. Starmer's green agenda didn't help. Trump openly mocked net zero, slashed regulations, declared energy dominance. To him, decarbonisation is self-harm. He sees Starmer's targets as economic suicide. The divide widened. DEI banned in the US military, embedded in Britain's civil service, international courts embraced in London, rejected in Washington. To Trump, Starmer isn't an ally. He's a warning. Farage, meanwhile, has become something unprecedented. An unofficial ambassador, a bridge bypassing the state. The Labour machine knows it. They fear it. Insurance markets are already pricing a reform surge. Not because they love Farage, because they smell stability, access, American goodwill. Time is running out. The government must choose. Human rights lawyers or national bankruptcy, soft power or hard borders, ideology or survival. Trump has made his choice. Loudly, publicly, repeatedly. The question now isn't whether Starmer's position is weakened. It's whether it's already untenable. Whether Washington has decided whether the future of Britain's leadership is being shaped not in Westminster but across the Atlantic. And if that's true, what happens next? Does Starmer bend? Does he break? Or does Britain wake up to a political realignment unlike anything seen in generations? Is Nigel Farage about to walk through the door everyone said was closed forever? And if he does, who really opened it? If you want to stay ahead of this unfolding power shift, if you want the stories they won't slow down enough to explain, subscribe now, because this crisis isn't ending, it's accelerating.